Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. Let's just jump right into this opportunity, man. Coming up, Contender Series, man. When you got the news, like take us to that, like getting the news. Did you know ahead of the last fight? You know, sometimes fighters know, like, oh man, this might be coming up on the horizon. Did you know anything, or was it kind of a surprise?
Yeah, well, I was already trying to get on Contender, like before the last fight. Talking to my manager, I'm just like I'm trying to get into the UFC this year, one way or another. I feel like I'm ready. And then that LFA opportunity, being on Fight Pass and everything, it was like okay, here's the time to show out. Have a good performance, and that might do it. And then after it was like some time went by. I didn't know if I was going to be on because like a month went by and I didn't hear anything. And then one day the call came.
Hey, that's it happens the way it happens, right? Like you just
Right, right.
can't plan for it, but be ready for it, right? That's what it is.
No, for sure, for sure. And I've been staying ready.
Definitely, man. Let's talk about the last one, man. We talked ahead of it, and man, you will go in there and you land the knee. Was that something that you prepared specifically for Tyler Scott, or is this something that you just been using throughout your career and it just happened to show up in that fight?
A little bit of both. I've always had good knees. I feel like, and I've like as an amateur, I've finished guys like to the body with the knee. And then even like when I was an amateur, you can't, at least in this state, you can't knee to the head as an amateur. So it was like I was always training, knowing that that was going to be a huge weapon once I went pro. And then my pro debut, I knocked a guy out with the knee to the head, kind of similar way to the Tyler Scott one.
Mhm.
Yeah, just brought the left knee up, and yeah, no, I've always felt like that's a good weapon.
Yeah, with the last fight being on Fight Pass and the Contender Series, you want to be on there, and that was the opportunity to show out. Was there extra anxiety for you or anything like that?
Being on Fight Pass, yeah, I guess a little bit. It was pressure. I feel
Mhm.
like every fight is a little more pressure. But that I think that's how it should be, and I feel like I'm growing. So it like the escalation is perfect. But yeah, no, definitely it was pressure as far as like I gotta look good, gotta be impressive, one way or another. So I'm just happy I was able to get in there and get the knockout in like a minute and a half in the first round.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, man. Was there anything else that you prepared for in that ahead of that fight specifically that you got to utilize in that 2 minutes and 30 seconds?
Um, I mean, I wanted to show my hands a lot more. I didn't really do much with the hands, even though I worked on it a lot, worked on the boxing a lot, and all that. But I'm trying to think. No, I mean, we didn't grapple at all. I thought if it went to the ground, I would have an advantage. But I knew he was tough. So yeah, no, I had obviously worked on a lot of stuff for that fight, and I didn't really get to show it. But I think that's a good thing. My only if an opponent wants to look me up, if this opponent wants to look me up, and he goes on Fight Pass, he has about a minute and a half of footage, and that's it.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, with Contender Series, you get to go out to Vegas and film some some footage for the Contender Series. How was that trip for you?
That was cool. I just got back last Friday. Yeah, my second time ever in Vegas. Going for the fight will be the third, but yeah, no, it was nice. The weather was good. Yeah, it was pretty cool doing the whole going to the Apex for the first time, getting filmed, doing the workouts and the interviews and all that. Like feeling like a real UFC fighter, even though I still got to earn that contract. But yeah, no, it was cool.
How was it stepping into the Apex and you get to see the cage that you're gonna fight in? You probably only seen it on TV, ahead of that, and you get to breathe the air and all that. What was it like?
Yeah, walking into the arena, it was pretty crazy. Just taking that energy in. Yeah, no, it's crazy, and it's crazy to think that it's still gonna be like light outside when I'm fighting. I'm kind of used to it. It's a lot of the time being dark out when I'm fighting, but it's pretty early on Contender. I think like 7 o'clock.
Yeah, man, it's like your career like escalated at like in steps, you know what I mean? Like, fight pass, and now you're gonna be on the contenders, and then you win that fight, you'll be making your UFC debut on ESPN and all of that. And then, like it just escalates, right? It's just, sometimes people are shot into like certain positions and they're not ready for it. Do you feel like it's moving along at the perfect pace for you right now?
Yeah, no, this is exactly what I wanted. This is exactly like how I planned it out. You know, my entire career, I feel like there's a lot of things that I've planned and they didn't go exactly how I wanted to. Like, I wanted to fight. I wanted to fight for an amateur title. I never got to. Even a pro title. I never got to. You know, never got a regional title opportunity or anything like that. But that's whatever. You know. But and then going stuff like going pro, I didn't get to go pro. The reason I had like 13 amateur fights is because the pro debut didn't come as soon as I wanted to. But now that I am pro, now that I'm whatever 7 fights in, I feel like I have the experience, and I look at guys in the UFC in my division, and I know I'm ready. So it's perfect timing.
How important is patience, man? Because it seems like you've learned that throughout the last couple of years.
Oh yeah, it's really important, especially the business side of MMA compared to just being an athlete. Like you got to be patient with the opportunities and what you say yes to, what you say no to. Yeah, no, it's real important.
Are you the first one from your gym to represent in the Contender Series?
No, my teammate Angel Pacheco was
Okay.
on last year.
Yeah. So, what do you talk to him about? Like, get entering that arena. You know what I mean? Like entering the apex, walking out. Do you have conversations about that just to get some insight?
Oh yeah, yeah, no, definitely. And he's gonna be in my corner, so it'll be really good. The mental side of getting like having someone who experienced that and had a crazy fight, you know. Yeah, no, I feel like I've followed kind of in his footsteps a lot of ways already. So just doing it again on Contender Series is really cool.
Is there anything that you do like, you know, for the mental side, like outside of like visualization or something like that?
A lot of it, yeah, a lot of visualization, reading, just to kind of like try to take in ideas and things. You know, I feel like there's so many things in life that like anything, pretty much anything in life, you can kind of relate to fighting in one way and like uh, in one way or another. I mean, but yeah. So visualizing, reading, yeah, that's about it. Outside of, I mean, I watch film. I watch a lot of film. More so like when I accept the fights, you know, and then we make a game plan. But yeah, other than that, just training, you know.
What do you feel like was the most humbling experience for you as a fighter?
Most humbling. That's a good one. Well, I've lost as an amateur, and I've lost as a pro. So I mean, losing is always losing is always humbling. And yeah, I feel like I was able to grow. Probably my pro loss, I would say, because that one was a unanimous decision. So it was like it was pretty thorough. The dude was just super high level, and in my hometown too. So that's pretty. It's crazy to think like growing up in a place like that, growing up in this town of 20,000 people, and then to think that a dude from Kyrgyzstan, a two-time world sambo what is it, combat sambo champion, would come beat me up in my hometown. That's pretty humbling.
How was it, walking out of the cage after that fight, man? It must have been hard for you.
Oh yeah, yeah, it sucked. I mean, I was exhausted, beat up, but I feel like I learned a lot from it. I feel like I wouldn't be where I am today without it. You know.
Now you're taking on Benjamin Bennett. What do you think of him? And from watching his fights, what do you think of his fighting style?
Yeah, he's solid. He's good all around. Good cardio, tough, I think, and yeah, we got the same record, 6-1.
Do you feel like he's more of a like a striker or a grappler when you see his fights?
Um, I think I think he's a little bit of both. Like his striking isn't bad, but I also noticed like there was a one fight I was watching where it seemed like he just couldn't help himself. Like even when he was getting the better of the striking, he just would keep going to the wrestling. I don't know why. It seemed like even the wrestling, it was his wrestling to me didn't stand out as super good, but he looks tough. He looks like physical. So I think he's well rounded.
Yeah, for sure, man. There's a reason why he's on the Contender Series, right? Just like you.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. He
Yeah.
deserves to be here.
And his only loss is to Trey Waters, and he's another tall, long guy too for the division, man. Like, did you
Right.
watch that fight and kind of
I
study that a little
did.
bit? Yeah, yeah.
I did. Yeah,
What you
I was
think?
impressed. I was impressed by that fight, even though he lost.
Hmm.
Because I felt like he was winning the fight, and yeah, it was weird referee calls. He kept getting separated and whatnot, and then got caught. But no, I was impressed by that fight. I took a lot away from it because that guy's tall like me, got reach like me, but I feel like we're also very different, me
Yeah.
and Trey Waters. But yeah, no, it was good film to watch.
And for preparations for this fight, when you buckle down and get into camp, was there any changes you made? Like small changes, big changes, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, just the general like getting into camp, going harder because it wasn't like I wasn't training. I was already like training every day when I got the call, and then it was you ramp things up as you go into camp. But besides that, the more specific stuff, I started working with a new boxing coach, Jesse Garza. He's been helping me with my boxing, just really tightening things up because I feel like this guy has got pretty good hands. So figured we'd tighten things up there. What else specifically? Just getting put through the ringer as far as sparring, like specific partners that my coaches had me go with. Hard rounds, extra rounds, and then I'm always getting extra conditioning after sparring. Just pushing extra, just really emptying the tank because I know it's 15 minutes and I got 15 minutes to earn a contract.
Exactly. And do you sit down every Tuesday and watch the Contender Series?
No, someone was asking me that earlier. Actually, no, because I'm training when it's on. So I spar. I spar Tuesday nights. What is it? That's kickboxing sparring, and then I run. Like I normally after I finish that, I get home and run. So by the time I get home, yeah, it's all over. I'll watch like the highlights. I'm always checking Instagram and seeing whoever got knocked out or choked out or got contracts, and that's cool. But yeah, I don't get to watch it live. I haven't got to.
Do you see like how Dana's picking? Like sometimes it's weird, right? Like how
I
Dana
do.
picks winners. You know what I mean? Like in contract, like you don't. It's not just because you win you get a contract anymore. It's just
No,
he has to
not at
like
all.
you.
Yeah, yeah, you have to impress them. No,
Yeah.
I think about that for sure when I'm training. I'm like, I gotta do extra
Yeah, this is
and just get the finish. No, he's if I mean I haven't seen him yet. Somebody get a knockout and not get a contract that I can remember.
for sure. Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. If you get a knockout, yeah, usually you're gonna get a contract because he'll remember that. That's the thing. Is like,
Yeah,
does he remember you by the end of the night?
yeah, yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah, man. It's a solid matchup, man. And it seems like you're just riding the wave right now. I mean, you're on a 4-fight win streak, all stoppages. They're gonna hype you up really well. You know what I mean? They're gonna hype your opponent up. So, what I mean? What do you envision for the fight?
Yeah, I think it'll be a tough fight, an exciting fight. I expect it to be high paced. He trains at elevation, so I expect his cardio to be good. And yeah, no, I know I'm gonna get a finish. But up until then, I mean, I've made peace with the fact it's gonna hurt. You know what I mean? It's gonna be one of those fights. It's gonna be a tough one because he's a tough dude, and I don't think, from what I've seen, I've never seen him look for a way out in fights. So I'm just gonna have to put him out. And up until then, I expect it to be a scrap.
For sure, man. I'm excited for this one, man, because the last fight that you had, an incredible fight, incredible finish. September 17th, Contender Series, UFC Apex. You get the lights, you get the shine. Joey, thank you so much for the time, man. All the best in the fight.
Thank you for having me on. Oh, real quick,
Yeah,
could I shout out
yeah.
um, M&M Construction, Eric Means, for sponsoring me for this fight.
Mhm.
Just wanted to thank him for that.
Yeah, M&M Construction.
Yep.
Yeah, shout out to them, man. I'll shout them out too, man. Shout out to them for
Thank you,
anybody that
appreciate it.
sponsors fighters, man, on the come up. You got to pay them mad respect. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
Because
exactly. It's much appreciated.
yeah, for sure, man.